We're back for our deep dive of Never Forever. This is part
4, All We Ever Look For.
Welcome to Kate Bush headquarters. I'm your director of communications, operations. Well, I'm your director of something. And that's what you call confidence in your abilities. Although honestly, confidence in my abilities are at an all-time low, honestly. This has been a rough week for me. I'll let Walking in Nature Io tell you all about it.
Come on, nature.
Took a whole week off to film new content for you guys, but it's just everything's gone wrong. And I'm taking a walk to try to clear my head. I even rented an Airbnb and it turned out to be terrible. Nothing like it was advertised, but I'm trying to make the best of it. And the first day of filming, I filmed a whole day, and then it turned out the footage was blurry. So a full day wasted. Check your footage next time before you commit to a whole day of filming, which I did the next day. And sound looked good, picture looked good, but halfway through, sound went out. So another day wasted. And then I got scammed by Hertz. Hertz was trying to charge me a whole bunch of money to extend. So I had to drive the car all the way back, 11 hours total. I ended up having to spend the night, so it was like 2 days wasted. So now 4 days with no footage, no videos at all. And I just filmed right now. Footage looked okay, sound was okay, but I had a tag on right here on the side of my tunic this whole time. So I'm just gonna leave it. It'll be a testament to my bad week. And you'll see it. I'll point out my boo-boo. But geez, you guys. I mean, I've been through worse, way worse, but it's just so disappointing. And it's just like, yes, Paula Abdul and random cartoon cat, exactly. It's like every time I try to improve, I just somehow mess it up somehow. But I suppose it kind of goes with what this album that we've been listening to is all about. What's been great about this deep dive format that we've embarked on, I get to hear these great comments from you guys, and I've been loving it. And I heard from the wonderful Leanne. She told me about the album title having the theme of Never Forever. Nothing good or bad in life lasts forever. Never forever. Which gave me the biggest duh moment of this entire deep dive, honestly. I was tripping myself up. It seems so obvious now. And it really does apply to everything that we've heard so far. Everything from Babushka to Delius to Blow Away, especially Blow Away. Well, let's just see how it's going to apply to All We Ever Look For. Ooh, whistly. Another interesting rhythm. Oh wow, the vocals started on the upbeat. Interesting. Is that Kodo? What a beautiful melody. I've been trying to figure out over the last songs we've been listening to how this all fits together, because every song feels like its own world, but somehow it still feels cohesive. And I was trying to figure out what it was. And it occurred to me as I was listening to this that these songs kind of an artifact sounding sound, like curios in like a shop. Like, remember that shop in the movie Gremlins that he goes to find the little Gizmo guy? Remember the shop he went into? It reminds me of something like that. Or I don't know. I was watching this show on Shudder. It was a TV show from the 80s, Friday the 13th, but it was like an anthology show. And there was a shop that they had. And it kind of reminds me of maybe that kind of shop too, if you guys have ever seen that show before. But each song sounds like some sort of like artifact or curio from the shop. Like Babushka would be like maybe those nesting dolls. Or maybe like Delius would be like maybe like a metronome. And I'm not sure what Blow Away would be. This song would definitely be like a cuckoo clock or something that runs on wheels. Something with like that winds up, like a wind up doll or like a wind up, some sort of old wind up toy or of some kind. I'm not sure what Blow Away would be. Oh, well, maybe a weather vane? No, that wouldn't be right. They wouldn't sell that in a curio shop. Or maybe they would. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think it would be? Such a curious rhythm. Very stop-start. Ooh, male vocals. Sounds more like workman style.
We're really looking for is another role that we adore. All we ever look for.
So lush sounding to the chorus. Has a very catchy release. Like the verse is very like stop start and this flows more.
To all we ever look for, but we never do score.
What's this? Oh wow. It's like chanting. Like birds and stuff too. Is that like rain?
All we ever look for, a God. All we ever look for, oh, a drug. All we ever look for, a great big hug. All we ever look for, just a little bit of you.
A vaguely Asian feel too, huh? Wow, the arrangement is so interesting. I was gonna give myself a whiplash. You know what I was like thinking too, as I was listening to this, is that there's lots of these like metally sounding sounds. But let's look at some background into the song. So much was going on with the arrangement because I didn't hear the lyrics or anything. I was just paying attention to everything that was going on. So let's look at these comments from Kate. All we ever look for is about how we seek for something but in the wrong way or at the wrong times. So it is never found. There's also one of my new songs, All We Ever Look For. It's not about me, it's about family relationships generally. Our parents got beaten physically. We get beaten psychologically. The last line, all we ever look for, but we never did score. Well, that's the way it is. You do get faced sometimes with futile situations. But the answer is not to kill yourself. You have to accept it. You have to cope with it. Is she like alluding to the fact that her parents were abusive to her psychologically? Is that what she's saying? I mean, if that's true, that makes a lot of sense to me, honestly. Several of my subscribers have told me that Kate Bush had an idyllic childhood. I don't know, I just have had the feeling that that's not entirely true. I would be surprised just from like the way she writes lyrics. If Kate isn't speaking from experience, she writes awfully insightful lyrics about abusive parental relationships. All the things they want for you are the things they didn't do. Parents don't go into being a parent wanting to hurt their children, but the trauma that the parent experienced gets passed down and then gets played out in that child's life. The child is left to either escape it by, for instance, taking drugs, or by seeking approval elsewhere, or by taking it head on. And earlier I was talking about my bad week, and I have a tendency to catastrophize, and this comes from my mom. I've always had big dreams, but if I ever made a mistake or something happened that didn't work out, she would often tell me it was because I couldn't do anything right, that I was stupid and that there was something wrong with me and I would never be a success the way I am. And maybe someone said that to her or something else. I've forgiven her, but she's always that voice in the back of my head, and it can be so hard to tell it otherwise. I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about childhood trauma, and sometimes it's easier I've been through so much in my life. Sometimes I just wonder how I'm even still here and still have my head screwed on somewhat straight. And I've kind of prided on myself that I've been able to do that, and I'm able to stay a somewhat upbeat person. I try to be kind to others. But in terms of you find the stuff from your past just popping up and somehow tripping you up somehow. It's so much easier to survive it than to thrive and move on and just to get someplace better. It's not easy to get to a place where you're able to thrive and get to your dreams. I've had all these dreams that I've had since I was very young, and not one of them has come true, and you think just one of them might come true. And it hurts. It really hurts when you think that not one of them has. I don't know. I'm getting emotional over nothing. It is interesting. Kate really does know what she's talking about. And her music really does elicit something from deep inside. But let me know, do you have a hard time getting past certain things? I've been listening to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's podcast. Like Kate Bush, the women she has on are so wise. And she had on author Amy Tan, who says,
But again, I don't review my life once it's happened. It goes along with this whole thing of don't do reruns of your life and look for all the ways that it was terrible.
She goes on to talk about how important it is to not come to the same conclusion based on events of the past, or relevantly to the song, taking a parent's criticism as gospel. She says it's important to have new experiences because even if you think they're negative, you never know where it's going to take you. For instance, one of Julia's other guests, Carol Burnett, tells a funny story about the 1962
Julie and Carol at Carnegie Hall. They weren't interested. They said because they see Carol every week on Gary's show, and only Broadway knows Julie Andrews. She hadn't done a movie yet.
I see.
And so they didn't think it would be any good. So I'm at an affiliates luncheon for CBS a few weeks later, and I'm kind of brave, and I'm kidding around with some of the CBS vice presidents, and I said, well, I guess if you don't want Julie and me, we could go over to NBC. They have color. I was terrible.
Carol!
Anyway, and they kind of laughed, but they still weren't interested. So the luncheon is over. We leave the building, and it's pouring down rain. And they said, we'll wait and help you get a cab, Carol. And I said, oh, don't worry. I said, somebody's going to pull up and give me a lift. I swear to God, Julia, those words were out of my mouth. A beer truck pulled up.
Stop it.
The guy leaned out and said, hey, Carol, you want a lift?
No. No.
They hoisted me up into the cab of the beer truck. The guy drove me home to Central Park South. I'm opening the door to my apartment. The phone is ringing. Pick it up. It's one of the vice presidents. You got your show. Because
why? Because the beer truck guy
because
recognized
a strange man came out, gave me that they recognized from Gary, and it was, for some reason that triggered them. you know what? Let's give them the show. And of course, the show was a big hit.
Yeah, this is the kind of amazingness I aspire to. It really is rolling with the punches and having that new experience Amy was talking about. And I think that's what Kate Bush meant when she said all we ever look for is another open door. And it certainly fits in with the album's theme, Never Forever. But it makes sense to this album, and it makes sense to life right now. You know, nothing ever good or bad lasts forever, and I have to remember that. So now I have something to say to myself when really crappy things happen. I could say never forever. So while this video was very unexpected for me, although every video so far has been unexpected on this Never Forever journey, don't forget to like and share the video. Sharing's caring, y'all. And you could check out another video right here, or if you want to see more of the Kate Bush deep dive, you can check it out right here. Or you could subscribe to me right here if you feel so inclined. But I hope the rest of your day is a wonderful, beautiful musical, and I hope to get to see you next time. Popcorn Philosopher over and out.